Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ecto. Happy Saturday. I'm going to be telling you two stories tonight, really one and a half. One's going to be a story from a friend of mine who lives in South Texas. This story happened to her when she was in college, and it is really good. And the details she had in this story was just amazing that she sent to me. And then the second story is not really a story, it's more like updates and just things that's going on right now in October, not just to me, but like friends of mine that, just odd little things that are happening. So, if you're ready for this one I'm going to title, I think, Underwater Angel, because my friend was literally rescued by somebody, she's not sure, but she is, hardcore into saying that this happened to her. So, and I believe her. I do, because I've heard of things like this happening before. So, I guess we're gonna get right to the beginning. She was in college, and it was in southern Texas. She was in college, but the dorms were all full where they were at, and she didn't want to live in a fraternity. So she found this apartment complex. And a few of her friends rented this apartment, and most of the complex was college students, A couple townies lived there, but for most part, it was geared towards college kids. Well, she said there was always parties going on and different things, and just crazy stuff happening. Well, she said a few of the guys that were there were smoking pot by the pool, which is kind of dumb because anybody knows in Texas that you don't do that. Anyways, that's what they were doing. Well, they were just having like these silly games, taking a hit off their bong or their joint, whatever, and then going under the water and like blowing bubbles just to see if the smoke would come up out of the water. Just being silly kids. Well, she had gone down to go swimming, and there was just different games going on. Another one was to take a hit off of a joint and then sit under the water on the bottom of the pool, Just stupid stuff like that. Well, she said she wasn't engaging at first. She was just kind of suntanning and just kicking it and just watching them all be silly. Well, after a little while, they kind of cleared out for the most part. She said there was still a small group there, drinking and carrying on. And she said her and her friends started talking to them. Next thing you know, they're all drinking and they have barbecue going on. There's always a barbecue in Texas. I'm reading this here. Hold on. How she said, we were all just pretty much just having a good time. She says talking, laughing. Then she said they started getting the bright idea again to take a hit off of, I'm guessing it's a joint. She just said just take a hit and sit at the bottom of the pool. And whoever sat there the longest, they would blow out their bubbles and see if the smoke still came up or if it absorbed in their lungs, which is stupid beyond belief, but still, you know how kids are. Well, college kids especially. And believe me, do not try this at home. Well, she said it got to be her turn, and everybody else kind of went from the edge and kind of in, but she said she was being a show-off, so she jumped to the middle of the pool, just kind of jumped in, and she said at first she jumped back out. She said she wasn't going to have it, so she dried off. She says, I don't want to do this. So she sat around for a while, and they kind of rousted her a bit, like, oh, come on, everybody else has done it, you should do it, And she said she had a really bad feeling, but she went against her gut instinct, which I don't suggest anybody ever does, but she went against her gut instinct, and she did it anyways. So she said she took a hit, and she, again, jumped in towards the middle and let herself sink to the bottom. Well, she said when she was down there, she noticed her hand sitting on kind of like a grate thing that was broken. And she said when she tried to go back up, she kind of adjusted herself, and her hand went down into the grate, which everybody knows is pretty much like the filter or whatever. She said it had came on, and her hand got sucked down, and it was stuck. She could not, it was the suction of it. She couldn't get it out. And she thought for sure somebody was going to come in and save her. So, she held her breath and she was up and she's trying to wave for help. And of course, they're all partying and, looking at their watches, seeing how long she's down there and not paying attention. So she says she kind of goes into a panic, like, oh my God, I'm going to die. So she's like really trying to stress hard to get her hand out. Well, she said she didn't see anybody jump in, but she looked over and she said she could see a guy there. She said what was strange is she was under the water. She didn't have goggles on, but she could see this person clearly. So, and anybody who's been underwater knows that when you open your eyes, everything's kind of murky unless you have goggles on. So, she said she looked over and he was pretty clear and he was just kind of looking at her. She said she remembers his eyes. Just like, almost like he was worried, just a very stressed and worried look on his face. And she said all of a sudden he pulls out a knife and he opens it. And she thought, oh my God, he's a psychopath. He's going to hurt me, So she said that he came over to me. And with the look on his face, he touched my face, not with the knife, but with his hand. She said, I thought for sure that he was going to do something to harm me. She said, so I started struggling, trying to get away from him, but I couldn't because my hand was stuck. She says, meanwhile, she feels like her lungs are on fire because not only did she take a hit of marijuana before she went down, she's holding her breath this long. So she's got this smoke, all this going on, and now she's got this strange man at the bottom of the pool with a knife in his hand. So again, she said he touches her face and kind of just almost like calm down, So she said she finally just kind of relaxed and he had taken the knife down where her hand was and he put it between her knuckles and kind of wedged it in there and just kind of pushed the knife, kind of breaking the seal of where her hand was. She was able to get her hand out. She said, and that's when she blacked out. She says she doesn't remember anything. She says she just kind of remembers him fading, and she blacked out. And finally, all the air came out of her lungs. She said she just was done. Well, next thing you know, she wakes up. She's poolside. And there's ambulance people there, and her friends are there, and of course everybody's crying. And she said, of course, the guys are off hiding the weed, And she said that she kept asking where he was. And they were like, where's who? She said, the guy who saved me. She said, and they told her, no, Angela jumped in the pool and pulled you out when you were floating to the surface. She's like, no, the guy, where is he? And nobody knew what she was talking about. Nobody. They were like, there was nobody there. It was just you. And she was really confused. And they took her to the hospital for observation and everything. And about 3 months later, she started talking to one of the townies that lived in the apartment complex. And the townie was talking about how they party at the pool, and she's like, she told her, she said, well, we try to keep it down now after what happened to me, and Townie's like, well, I heard something happened, but what happened to you? Exactly. So she didn't tell her the full details of the whole guy, because nobody believed her, they just thought she was, like, seeing things because she was, deprived of oxygen or whatever, and she didn't tell her exactly what happened. She just said that she had gone down there and kind of got stuck, and then she blacked out. And the townie was an older lady. She's all, and, I guess told her, well, y'all are lucky that you even have a pool after what happened to Antonio. And she's like, who's Antonio? And the lady says, well, there was a man here named Antonio who had dove into the pool and got his hand stuck in the filter, and he drowned. And the apartment complex never even got the filter fixed after he cracked it from trying to get into the filter. Apparently, a man named Antonio had dropped something in the pool. I don't know if it was a coin or something, but it had gone down into that filter. Well, he dove in there and he couldn't get the cover off. So he found a knife and he cracked the filter cover. But he did it with the handle, but I guess, and cracked it and went back up there. And his friend said that he got the cover off and he's going to go down. Well, he had gone down there to retrieve this item that had fallen in there, and the filter came on and his hand got stuck and he drowned. So nobody had a picture of Antonio, but the lady described him and described him exactly how she saw him, with dark hair, dark eyebrows, and like just really big eyes, and that's who she saw down in that pool. That's who saved her. She's convinced of it. She's convinced that this man who died in that pool saved her life. So, I know, right? It gives you chills just to think about it. But yeah, so she said that she graduated, and when she moved and everything, that story always stayed with her, and how this man came from beyond to save her from dying. And she says she will never, ever forget it. Ever, ever forget it. And she's also been an advocate now for places like apartment complexes, hotels, things like that, fixing those covers for their filters so this doesn't happen to somebody else. So, but yeah, that's just a wild story to me, that a ghost was able to do that and, have that much power to be able to save her. To be able to get her hand loose, and nobody else saw him. Nobody. So, definitely weird. Okay, well, I'm going to take a quick break here, and I'm just going to leave you with a couple cool songs that I found on that free royalty site or whatever. There are actually some really cool ones, so. Anyways, I will be back in just a couple minutes, and y'all enjoy these.
The sun and at the morning dawn, I think of your hands like those of broken ghosts. When as I close my eyes, strangers that disguise that feeling not for long that I thought was nearly gone. But it soon came back. It soon came back. It soon came back somehow. Set free and I want to feel the same, but the ghosts of our lives are chasing me again. And I remember how when I came back from the south, I gave the moon a rest, and you were no longer there. But you soon came back. You soon came back. You soon came back somehow. You soon came back somehow. Union Square and back in the London rain, a ghost that comes back like a song that never ends. You know where to find me if you ever need me. You might feel like you do once you've had a drink or two, but you soon came back. You soon came back. You soon came back somehow. But you'll soon come back. You'll soon come back. You'll soon come back
WLP LLC. Check us out on iHeart, Speaker, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, with the best podcasters in the business. Denise Harris, Chris Stevens, Michelle Auger, Ike Diaz, Desiree Pickett, Anissa Nicole, Cecilia Flores, Lolita Diaz. Sponsored by TBs303.com. We are also looking for new podcasters. Inbox any of our podcasters or me, Ike Diaz, directly on Facebook, and someone will get back with you ASAP.
It's
When you see it, girls, that's all I give. Give it out to try to kill. When I say I'm not about it, 'cause I choose to live my business. The God is what I choose to live. To come and be what I when you see the sea, look like me, even after trying to do, then I say I'm not about the sea. I will not let the sea take me. I will not get into that drink. Wanna be let me
Hey everyone, and welcome back. This second segment here is not really stories, but it's going to be just some updates on some previous stuff that I told you, and just some things that have been going on, not with just me, but a few of my friends, and I think it's just the time of year. I talked to a lady once a long time ago. This was probably, I don't know, I was like in my 20s. It was a while back. Anyways, I don't want to age myself too much. She basically said that in October, like usually fall, just as everything's starting to change over from summer to fall, the temperatures get cooler, there seems to be a heightened activity in a lot of paranormal things, and she says that she attributes it to, just like, in the fall, leaves die, things die, stuff starts changing over, and it's getting cold, and a lot of summer people start getting depressed because they're out in the nice warm sun and they're in their shorts or whatever, and they're kicking it, and all of a sudden they have to bundle up and stay in their house, and it makes people depressed, which is seasonal depression is a real thing, and it begins when fall happens. So she thinks that's why a lot of paranormal stuff gets heightened in the fall. It has nothing to do with Halloween or anything like that. It's just in the air, kind of, so. Anyways, I wanted to let you know, a while back I told you about a friend's house who was haunted. And she was convinced it was a girl in the house, and then I was not. Well, she had gotten I guess you'd call it a professional team in there, and they didn't do a whole lot. They just kind of really heightened the activity, because they were doing recordings and, that kind of nonsense. And it just kind of really heightened the activity there. Well, then she found this other lady who was a local lady who, read palms and things like that, and got her in there. And she pretty much confirmed what I said, that was not a little girl. That was not anything except something that's not nice. So, she didn't exactly use the D word, but she said that it was something that wasn't nice, and that they really need to get a medium or somebody in there to really find out what this is. So, she's working on that right now, and I'll keep you updated on that. And so, yeah, you just get that feeling, you know what I mean? You can just walk in somewhere and you just kind of, I can anyways. I can just kind of get that feeling, just years ago I was house hunting. And I could go into a house and I could seriously tell you, like, as soon as I walked in, it's like, oh my God, there's things here, bye-bye. You know? It's like just a feeling. I didn't even need to see anything. It was just that feeling. So, but anyways, and lately a lot of weird things have been happening at my work and to different people that I know and things like that, you know, just like hearing voices or things moving. Well, something happened actually last night to me and a girl I work with. We work on opposite sides of an assisted living type place, and she was on one side, I was on the other. Well, it was like the downtime where everybody finally falls asleep, and you're just kind of like taking a breath, you know. And I sat down for a second, and behind me, the table that was behind me, there's literally nothing between me and the wall but this table. There's no way to get to this table except to get past me. So I finally sat there for a second, and from behind me, I hear this chair just move and hit the table. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not going to turn around, because I'm not even going to acknowledge this, because that's usually what they, you know, like these things want. They want you to acknowledge so they can keep playing or whatever. So I didn't even acknowledge. I'm like, I'm done. So I thought, well, I'm going to go over there and see how she's doing. So as I'm walking over there, she's coming to my unit with this look on her face that's just like scared, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? She said that she had gone into a linen closet to get some towels, and from behind her, she heard, hey. And she thought it was me. She said she turned around fully expecting to see me there, and I'm not there. And then she said that she thought I was playing tricks on her, so she went around the corner to try to scare me, and again, I'm not there. So, so stuff's starting to heighten again, and it seems to happen everywhere, because I have friends across the country, and they're telling me the same things. Like just going outside, they feel eerie, you know, like they can just feel like something's watching them, or they said when they're at work, you know, it doesn't even have to be the medical field. I have friends that work in plastic factories that are like, hey, you know, I swear somebody touched me, turn around, there's nobody there, you know, so it just seems to be the time of year, up here in the northern hemisphere, you know, southern hemisphere, they're fixing to warm up, but in the northern hemisphere, the temperatures are changing and things are happening. So I really do think that the lady's right, that it just brings like this heightened sense of I don't know what in the air, and it just kind of, and I don't necessarily think a lot of times that it's paranormal. I think it's psychological, because I've always been a big believer in that the power of the mind can do a lot. So, so I think this time of year too, a lot of people feel rushed, and then they start feeling panic because they know pretty soon Christmas is coming and everything's, you know, and they just get like this sense of just like overwhelmed. Like they're just overwhelmed with a lot of things. Especially people with children too, you know, school's back and they're trying to get this and homecoming and you know, all these things going on. So, and you know, kids themselves get anxiety. So I think a lot of it's just in the air. You know what I mean? It's just like, ugh, like the air's just thick. So, and, you know, and of course, there is that possibility, you know, the tails of the veil that's thinning. So, who knows? So, anyways, just watch yourselves out there and let me know if anything is happening to you. Contact us through KBLP LLC on Facebook and let us know. Say, hey, this is going on, guys. You know, let me know. I will definitely tell your story on the air. So, yeah. And if there's anything else you want to tell us, ghost stories, anything, you know, anything that applies to this, you know, not just ghost stories, but paranormal, UFO, anything like that, Denise Harris, believe me, would definitely want to hear that. So, yeah, go to KBLP LLC on Facebook, and you can message us. You can go there and get information on all the shows, the podcasts. You can check out old podcasts. There's a lot of stuff going on there, so. And also, we are on KBLP LLC 4 on YouTube. So, you can also go there and check out our shows. We're on iHeart. There's so many things we're on. So, and we also have a KBLP LLC on Twitter. So, well, Ike manages that one. I'm not there, but I don't do that Twitter thing. But that's just my preference. So, anyways, also, check out some of the groups that we have going on. Denise Harris has a group called True Horror Junkies, and I kind of have kind of like a more or less serious horror group called Horror 3-Ring Circus, which right now my friend Adriana Jax has been running that group beautifully. She's been doing great because I've been so busy. But yeah, go there. We kind of get the lighter side of horror there. And also, my friend Jason Boyce has the Walking Dead Freak Show. He does a really good job there of just kind of keeping you updated on some stuff with The Walking Dead. And it's a great group. It's kind of a close-knit community. Art of Darkness is another one you might want to check out. So, it definitely kind of applies to this program. So, check some things out. And I will come back to you guys next Saturday with episode 8. And so, y'all have a wonderful Saturday. Be safe. Don't party too hard. Don't drink and drive. Call an Uber. Do what you gotta do. So, anyways, we'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.